pretty much said that he was angry against his people, he showed that by using the other nations. He let the other nations pursue us, and that was the anger of the Lord being displayed on the planet. Okay? But guess what? The Lord is going to heal us all over again. And the beginning stages of the healing is that we have the word. Okay, this brother has a Bible, this brother has a Bible, I have a Bible, this brother has a Bible. So and this brother has a Bible. So we're in the beginning stages of the healing. And this brother too. Okay? So we're beginning to heal in the third day. Well, the second day what is it? It says in the second day, the Lord have revived us, but in the third day we shall be raised up. And we're in the third day right now. All right, go on.
It says, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they called thee an outcast. Because
they called us an outcast. And that's another way on how we're going to be restored once again, is by going back to our land. In other words, in the beginning, in the Old Testament, is known as the land of Canaan, because the Canaanites were in that land. And we pursued them out of that land, took everything from them and destroyed them. Okay? And we was blessed with that land. So we're going to get the land of Canaan back all over again. But it's going to be the true land of Israel. Okay? So yeah, brother, Yahoo, you got, if you could get me the precept out where it talks about how the Lord is going to come and heal with his wings. Because that's what Yahweh Shah is coming to do. He's not only just going to come and destroy these nations, but he's also going to do two things. He's going to heal his people, beginning with those that believe in his name.
Beautiful, brother, beautiful!
Those that believe in his name, man. See, I'm feeling this brother right here,
Benjamin,
man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's what the Lord is going to do, because we need to be healed, man. Absolutely. Because how can the Lord say that we're the sons of God, but we ain't looking like the sons of God, man? So the Most High is going to have to heal us, man. All right, and that's what we believe in. Well, we don't really believe in it no more. We know that's what's going to happen, because the Lord is not a liar, man. The Lord said we was his people, so the Most High is going to declare that fact on the face of the earth, man.
That's right.
Go on, bro.
Malachi 4 verse 2. But unto you that fear my name.
But unto you that fear my name. Who fears the name of the Lord? Is it all of these Israelites out there? No, it's only us. Okay, go on.
Shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings?
And who is the Son of Righteousness? Yahweh Shai. When you read the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68, it talks about how no man will buy thee out of your Lord's slave. In other words, your slavery. But that one man will do this, and that's Yahweh Shai. He's going to be the one that's going to restore. That's why it also says in the scriptures that none have said to restore. Because it's not for these other nations to restore us back together, even if they wanted to. But it's for only the Son of Man. Okay, not the Son of Man, but the Son of the Most High, Yahweh, to do that job. Hence his name is called just that, Yahweh Shai, which means he is the Savior. Go on, brother.
Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings.
And what are the wings? The wings are the chariots of the Lord. So when the chariots of the Lord come pass about, the earth, that's going to be our way to be healed. So it's all about the chariots, and what we look towards, we don't look towards of getting a damn good job one day, or getting married one day, okay, or pursuing a major career one day. And if you do have a good career, that's all right. But the main thing that we're looking towards, brothers, is the coming of Yahweh Shai.
That's right.
The coming of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai, man. That's what we look forward to. We look forward to two things. The end of this damn world and the beginning of our world will be spearheaded by Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. And that's the main thing right there. So we don't.
With healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the storm.
In other words, we're going to grow bigger. We're going to have a higher stature about us now, going all the way back as of the men of old. In the ancient world, we're talking about almost 5,000 years ago. You can even read that in the book of Genesis chapter 6, where it talks about the giants that fell from their estate. We're going to go all the way back to those men, okay, and live almost 1,000 years old, or live more than that, like this brother goes into. We're going to live for days, man, okay? We're going to live as the years of the tree.
Yeah.
All right? Them old, you see them super duper gigantic trees. They're pretty much the oldest. You'd be surprised how old those trees are, man.
Yeah.
And that's how we're going to be living.
thousands of years.
So this is why, man, this is why I can easily say, to hell with this world, man.
That's right.
We just here to survive, we just here to do what we gotta do in this life and move on with it, man. But as far as we're concerned here, we looking towards the second coming of the Messiah to bring and to restore all things back together again. Hey brother, if you can read, get me Isaiah 60, I believe it's 62.
Hey brother,
Yeah.
for a man to have sex with a woman and light a cigarette after, that
Right.
that can't show that we're in a good kingdom, you know
Exactly,
what I mean?
exactly, brother, exactly.
I'm telling you,
Exactly, brother. Yep,
right? That's not life, that's not true life.
yep. That's not living.
No, that's not living, brother.
You know what I mean? And what you and also like I always say,
Stress, man.
and like I always say, you know, when you lay down with these women out here today,
Yeah.
you know, for example, like the scripture says, a man's glory is his woman in it.
Yeah.
Right? But if you notice, these women, they've been all used up, man. So what kind of women are we gonna glory? Yeah, they damaged goods.
Yeah.
Speaking of a guy who's 35 years old, like there was this one girl, but he was like, oh, she's too young, I'm too old, isn't it? And he was like 35, he looked like a good type of guy. And I asked him about the women of his generation, and he was like, man, I said, I was like, they're damaged, aren't in it? He says, that's the best word to describe it.
Yeah, they hit the wall. They hit the wall pretty much. Yeah, so that's just the whole thing. So let's say you a man in this society, you got all the girls, right? But guess what? All of the girls you're getting, they all been used up, man, by other men. Used and abused, smacked upside the head in some cases, man. Torn and worn. You said it better, brother. Torn and worn, baby boy. So how you gonna glory in that? You can't glory in that, man. So that's why we gotta just leave this shit alone and let's just focus on this from now on, man. Come on, bro.
Second, talk about the
And that's why they feel they need to walk quick, because they know I'm talking the true shit. Go on, brother.
Second Ezra chapter 5,
Been used up, man. Go on.
verse 51. He answered me and asked and said, ask a woman that beareth children,
Right.
and she shall tell thee.
Well, I know this one.
Say unto her, wherefore are not they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before,
Right.
but less of stature?
Right.
And she shall answer thee, they that be born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age, when the womb fadeth, are otherwise.
Right, or become weak, in other words.
Consider thou therefore also
I like this one right here.
how that ye are less of stature
Yeah.
than those that were before you.
Because back in the beginning, almost we were
What's that, second or is it
giants,
five
man.
and
We were tall, man.
51.
Oh, 51.
We were tall. We were great in stature, and I'm talking about we had the ability to we had the ability of spiritual power.
5 and 50,
Okay,
51.
we had stronger minds. We
Second
were
Ezra,
stronger
5 and
on
51.
all aspects, man. We can't really fathom it because we're so on a lower state. Go on, brother.
We're like Thanos.
Yeah, pretty much.
Big as he was.
Second Ezra,
Not all of us, man. Now look at us now.
5
Low. The
51.
average height is like what, 5'8"?
Some
Average.
of us will be lucky to reach 6 feet.
Yeah. That's even a stretch, yeah. But back then, you standing like probably 12 to 15 feet tall. Probably big as that pole over there, man. That's
No
behind
joke,
you.
brother. No joke. No joke.
Big as shit, man.
Yeah.
We can't fathom it now because of we've been here so long. But that's how it was, man. Back in the ancient world. But guess what? Everything's come full circle now. Because if you notice, and I want you to continue that precept, brother, because that's a good precept. If you notice, right, we've become lower in this age than ever before. So what's happening is we've become full circle, and now we're going to go all the way back to how it was in the beginning. So read on. It's a recycle.
And so are they that come after you less than ye,
Yeah.
as the creatures which now begin to be old,
Yeah.
and are passed over the strength of youth.
And you know what too, they was even saying, I was reading about something, right, how the men, I was looking up something on YouTube, and they were saying that our men in the 1800s had way more testosterone than the men of today.
Of course.
You see that?
Yeah.
So everything is gradually being degraded. Now Esau will have you believe that we're elevating
Yes,
because of
that's
this technology. But that may be true, the technology may be elevating to a whole other degree. But what's the condition of man? The condition of man is downgraded. All right? Go on,
That's
brother.
why men have to go to war with guns.
Yeah.
they're cowards now.
Right.
Back in the day, men went to war face to face, man. Hand to hand.
Yeah.
You know, straight brute, physical force, man.
Yeah.
Man to man. Now you stand, he's way over there, you way over there.
Yeah.
You shooting and you ducking.
Yep.
Coward, man.
So it says with every battle the warrior is confused noise, garments rolled in blood.
Yes.
It's more man-based, man. Like King Saul, he was the tallest in all Israel.
Right.
And he had armor. And surely that King David was tall because King Saul told David to wear his armor when he went to fight against Goliath. So King David must have been near the height of Saul. So King David must have been tall too.
Yeah.
Even when he was a stripling, he must have been tall.
Yeah.
Because he wore the armor of King Saul.
Oh yeah. Come on.
When they asked him, why do you want to fight this man? And he gave the example of fighting the lions and chasing a zebra in the bear. Okay, two strong creatures that he fought against. You know, because they looked at him like, because I think he was the youngest of the family.
Yeah, he was the youngest.
Like, you can go and fight that guy, look at the size of him. You know, and then he gave the example, I fought a lion off, you know, looked after my sheep. I fought a bear off, you know.
Yeah, so men,
go and fight them.
yeah, so men back then, man, were strong, man. Okay, and even the lions were bigger back then too. They probably had saber-tooth lions back then. Who knows? But everything was much more bigger, and this is why Esau, you always, you know, talk about dinosaurs and shit like that. And it probably was dinosaurs back then. But the reason, but going back to that point in time, everything was bigger, man. Everything was huge. Even the watermelons, man. You see them you saw the watermelons I had, right? You think that them joints are big, right? Just imagine how it was back in those days. Those things was probably the size of that car right there, man. Just imagine a watermelon the size of that van over there. That's how it was. That's how it probably was, man. Or probably the size of that truck.
Vegetables that come as big as a car, you know, like some of them pumpkins.
Yeah, when they've been hybridized though. Special kind of
occasionally.
And the reason why we were so big,
steroids. They're the steroids though, them ones. They're steroids.
Yeah, but you know when they do them in this country, they like to do them shows.
Yeah, but
they grow the
special kind of fertilizer. It's a special kind of fertilizer, but it's on the left-hand side. We're gonna get it on the right-hand side.
Back then, I don't cut. You finish what you're saying.
Like I said, a lot of time when you give them, they have no taste.
That's it. Yeah, nothing. No substance. Nothing.
It looks like it, but when you eat it, man, it's
there's
just,
nothing in it.
No
nutrients.
Nothing in it.
No nutrients.
Or nothing like that.
Yep, and that's the reason why men were so big back then, because as you just read, I want you to read that one more time, right? There's a point.
It's not only the food, you know, it's the water,
it's the water.
It's the air you breathe in.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. But as the brother just read, the earth had the
So 2nd Ezra 5 verse 51, he answered me and said, ask a woman that beareth children, and she shall tell thee. Say unto her, wherefore are not they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature? And she shall answer thee, they that be born in the strength of youth.
Right, that's the point. They that be born in the strength of youth. Go on.
Of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age.
Right, them that are born in the time of age. Go on.
When the womb faileth, or otherwise.
In other words, they're weaker. Go on.
Yeah.
Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you.
In other words, because back in the ancient world, like for example, the brother just read it, in the day of her youth, right? When she had the children were much more strong. And that just goes to show you that the men of the ancient world, they knew one thing, and they knew about this, right? They knew, look, if you're gonna have a child, you gotta get a younger woman.
True.
Because the child is more more invigorated, has more life force in it. But if you have, let's say you have a child with an older woman now, the child becomes weak. Okay, the child is much more weaker than he is than if you had a young woman. Okay. But going back to what I wanted to say is this: is that during the time in the ancient world, in the beginning stages of the earth was pretty much more fruitful. It was abundant in fruitfulity, if that's even the word.
Yeah.
Right? to the point where, like you said, the air that we was breathing, it was pure. The earth was very so well fertile. So if you're eating these severe fertile foods compact with nutrients, you're gonna grow tall, man. You're gonna be height in stature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had your hand up. I was gonna say that the scripture said that in the elder world, the entrance to the kingdom was wide and short,
Right.
because man was more holy, was more in tune with the Most High.
Right.
So there was more everlasting life. Men were more righteous. Even the heathens were righteous.
Exactly.
Even they didn't believe in authority, and even the heathens were upright even to an extent.
And the reason why, you can continue on, the reason why, because every man was on a higher estate.
Yeah. So even like, who is it? It was even the Egyptian, because when Abraham told his wife, Sarah, said, when we go to Egypt, tell people that you're my sister, or cousin or whatever, because he knew that she was beautiful and that men would kill him over her.
That's it.
And then when Pharaoh grabbed her, thinking that that's his sister, when the Most High came to him in a vision and said, touch her, that's Abraham's wife. He was like, he went to Abraham and said, you should have told me, I would have committed a sin.
Yeah.
So showing you that even the other nations knew about the law. They knew about keeping upright. They knew it was a wicked deed to take another man's wife.
Right.
They understood that. So back to what I was saying is that in the old world, the entrance to the kingdom to righteousness was wide and short. Because righteousness was global.
Yes.
But it's only as that time went by, the scriptures tell you in Isaiah 24 that the curses covered the world because they've broken the everlasting covenant. That's why the earth has become weaker. And that's why it's through the devices of mankind, it's life expectancies become shorter, man.
Right. And and just to add on to what you were saying, because it makes sense. Because if we were much more greater back then we would obviously be greater in understanding. We would have a greater connection with the Heavenly Father. So everything about man was much more greater back then. But as time went down, the truth started to diminish, dwindle. And then that's when the wildness came about. And this is like we're living in a time no different than before the flood. Because the reason why the flood came is because man waxed wicked. So the Lord decided to pretty much destroy as much men as he can in that time, so that he can bring forth a new set of group of people on the earth. So that's good. So it's going to be here we go.
Second Ezra 7, verse 12. Well, then start verse 11.
Okay, that's an exception.
Verse 11. Because for their sakes I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. Then were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. For the entrances of the elder world were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit. If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, then can never receive those that are laid up for them.
So, brother, I don't want you to read no more because that's a long chapter right there. But the point of the matter.
Oh, that scripture again. What is it?
That's
The beginning.
2 Ezra 7.
2 Ezra 7. Yeah.
Verse 10.
Okay.
But I'm glad that you read that though, because see now, because of the sin of Adam, now pretty much sin has entered into the world. And what I mean by the world, I'm talking death has entered into the world, and because of death, we pretty much declined. We became degradable as the time went on. So now the Most High set it up to this point where we have to fight. Okay, we have to walk this thin line all the way so that we can get all the way back to what our ancestors had. In other words, the people in Genesis chapter 6, the sons of God. So we have to fight for that now. Okay, and this is why the truth has come out. Okay, there was a time where the truth wasn't even existing at one time. Now this truth has come out, going back to what you said before, because this truth is what is it? Our way, or the key to our salvation. So not only are we going to be saved by this captivity or from this captivity, but we're going to be saved out of these bodies too. And we're going to revert back to having those immortal bodies, which is what Paul spoke about.
I'll remind you.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 29. Lo, this only have I found, that God hath made man upright.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
But they have sought out many inventions.
And that's something that happened because of the sin of Adam. So because of the sin of Adam, men started to deviate,
create different idolatries.
Right, creating statues and doing all kind of, sorceries and rituals that went against the Heavenly Father. So it's going to take one man once again that died, which is Yahushua, which he was the Adamite, okay, that made everyone go up, and it's going to take him to restore everything in order to make us go Nalef again.
Right.
You see that? That's powerful right there, man.
Because it really was Yahushua that made the world the way it is now, man.
Yep.
He's the one that pretty much brought sin into the world.
It's actually his fault.
That's right.
And see, that's a whole different level, brother.
That's a whole, because Yahushua is coming back to destroy the world that he made, man.
Exactly.
He brought sin, transgression into the world, man. And he even tells you that that all idolatries and everything came from the Most High. All of that came from Yahushua anyway. That's deep. It tells you that all idolatries and all that all came from Yahushua anyway.
Right.
And that's why
idolatries, all evils, all philosophies came from Yahushua. All of that came from him. So he's coming back to destroy it. Because it was all a learning curve.
Yeah.
It's all a learning curve for us, man.
And really the Most High Yahweh, he knew that was going to go down. It was already written. You know what I mean? But the beautiful thing about it is that, and I'm not saying that, as a because we can't be disrespectful now. But the point of the matter is it all began with him. It all began with him.
Right.
And that's why the Yahushua has to be the one to make everything all right again. And that's what I wanted to say. That's why ultimately he died on the cross. Because he died for his own sin and he died for the sin of the world, which is Israel.
Right.
So he had to reconsider. He had to pretty much put everything in his proper perspective because he went off himself back then.
Yeah. So he had to die for
That's
what
heavy,
he did.
man. That gives me chills right there. Damn.
Because of him. That's why all this evil. That's why Esau is in power, because of Yahushua. Because Yahushua gave Esau the blessing anyway when he was on Isaac. So Yahushua put Esau in power. Yahushua is the beginning of it.
Wow.
And he's coming back to put the reset button. To correct what he made wrong. That's what he's doing.
You got that question out?
Yahushua, he's the ultimate man. He's the ultimate man.
Well, it goes back to what you said. He's the origin of Adam.
He's the beginning. That's what it said. All things was created by him. Everything was created by him. Principalities, powers. And he's coming to subjugate it all, man. Because it got out of hand. When he transgressed, that's when everything just went out of whack. So now he's got to put it all under his foot, man. So he can reign again.
And mankind can reign in righteousness again.
Right.
And it just goes to show you, man, see, this is the thing. See, this truth is heavy, man. See, right when you come into this truth and you think you know it all, you don't know shit, man.
Right.
When you come to find out, there's layers and layers of information that you find out, man.
Never stop learning, bro.
This is infinite knowledge.
Yeah.
So just imagine when the Most High pretty much makes us to be, born of this knowledge. That's how you know we're going to be on an entire different level, man. Go on, brother.
Sirach 3 verse 21. Seek not out the things that are too hard for thee.
Right.
Neither search the things that are above thy strength.
Right.
But what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence, for it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are in secret.
Exactly. So all we're going by is what we know. We're not going to try. We're not trying to break certain things down we don't understand, because that's just foolishness right now. Okay. You don't understand something, what you got to do is you got to go before the apostles.
Yeah.
Okay, or serve ministers in the camp.
Yeah.
And you get to learn from them.
Yeah.
Okay, but what me and this brother's doing, We just rolling through the spirit, and the spirit is revealing certain things.
Yeah.
We're not just trying to we're not pretty much forcing the waters.
Calm.
We're trying to act based on ego. This ain't about no ego, man. Let Esau and these dominions, these idiots, act like that. We don't need to act like that because we already who we are anyway. We don't have to prove a point. We don't have to prove that. We are who we are, and that's just that. The Lord gave us what He gave us, and that's that. Go on, brother.
I read this also that it says that what's been commanded us, we're thinking thereupon with reverence, right?
Right.
Because when Yahushua comes, He's going to tell us everything that we don't even know.
Exactly.
When He comes back, He's going to tell us what He did when He was Adam.
Exactly.
And He's going to tell us the realness of what really happened when He was Adam.
Right. Right.
He's going to sit down and
When he was
back to
what?
us anyway.
So the realness when he was what?
When he was Adam.
Oh, calm.
Yeah, when Yahushua comes back, don't think He's just gonna. All right, here's the crowns. All right, go do your thing, and I'll just go piss on it. No, he's gonna be among us. He said, the wine that we're drinking, I'm gonna drink it new with you in the kingdom.
Oh, beautiful.
So we're gonna sit down in the kingdom. We're gonna drink wine with Yahushua.
What are we going to be
So
talking about?
We're going to want to ask you a question.
Yeah. Daddy.
And it's going to be very interesting too. It's going to be an interesting conversation.
There's gonna be a long conversation.
Sometimes I go in the bus and you see like a woman come with a child, right? And the child goes, Daddy, what is this? Why is that car moving like that? Why is that the sky blue? And you ask a question upon question, you know? This is going to be the same way, right?
Yeah.
Same way.
That's how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Yahushua's gonna explain things that we don't even know now.
No, boy.
You know? 'Cause we only know what, like I said, it said, verse 22, but what is commanded thee, think thereupon with reverence.
Right.
For it is not needful for thee to see with thine eyes the things that are in secret.
Exactly.
Wow.
Be not curious in unnecessary matters.
Wow.
It's none of our business. It's none of our
That's
business
it.
to go there. Go on.
For more things are showed unto thee than men understand.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's what we got. We got the this is why the apostles, beginning with the apostle Tahar, right, all the way down to the men, we always say that we have the 100% truth. And like I always like to say as well, once you master this Bible, you've pretty much mastered life.
Woo!
You've mastered life because life came out of this Bible. Life is spoken of about this Bible. That's why it's also known as the book of life. So once you understand these precepts, you got the whole shebang, baby boy. You got the whole shebang. Go on, brother.
When Yahushua speaks, that is the Most High speaking.
Yeah.
Because He is the Word of God.
Deep, brother, deep.
When Yahushua talks, that's the Most High talking.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the Most High will do nothing, but He revealed His
Secrets unto His servants. His humble servants.
He has seen me, has seen the Father. So when Yahushua is there, He is not seeing the Most High among us. You know, is that asking the Most High, why this, why that? And the Most High is breaking it down to you.
Right.
He came in the image of His Father. You know what I'm saying? So when the Romans crucified Yahushua, then they basically, that was like crucifying the Most High, even though He wasn't.
Well, it does say that in Romans.
Don't want to do that, mate.
Don't go do that.
He was just the Most High.
Don't bark up that tree, bro.
Yeah. Now don't get twisted and think that, He is God.
No.
They're two separate entities.
Yeah.
Alright? Because the Christians
We
say
can't
that
handle God.
the Trinity, God, the Son, the Spirit, they're all the same thing. No, they're all
Work in agreement.
separate entities.
They work in agreement.
Exactly, they work in agreement.
Right.
They're one, as in they're in agreement.
All
They're
right.
all of one mind.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Like we're all in one mind because don't the scriptures talk about how we're supposed to be of one mind? I'm roughly paraphrasing it.
Right.
So that's how Yahushua was like towards his father.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, bro, I want you to continue on where you left off at, and then we might have to close out.
Can we ask a question?
Yeah, come. It's about that time.
Oh, can we ask a question?
Isaiah 62.
Yeah, what's your question?
I don't have much knowledge, but are you preaching Christianity?
We're preaching more. Well, you could. I mean, I could say that we're the real Christians. We are preaching Christianity, but we're not preaching the Christianity that you think of them. So yeah, let me read this. I'll get to you in a minute. Let me read this.
Isaiah 62, starting at 1.
Yeah.
For Zion's sake, I will not hold my peace, And for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness.
Exactly. So, in other words, let's read that one more time.
For Zion's sake I will not hold my peace.
Right.
And for Jerusalem's sake I will not rest.
Okay.
Until the righteousness thereof go forth as brightness, and the salvation thereof as a lamp that burneth.
So even Yahweh himself, because during the time of Isaiah, Yahweh was dealing with men up close and personal. But he's now using his son Yahushua to pretty much, he's pretty much the middleman to all of this right now.
Yeah, the mediator.
And he's not resting at all until righteousness is pretty much covered the face of the earth. Okay, go on.
Verse 2. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness.
Yeah, give me the verse where it talks about how the Lord will talks about the former age. Should be right in there. Let me see something. How the Lord will create a new heavens and a new earth. It's in Isaiah 60, I believe it's 62. Or it could be 63. That's ultimately the goal of the Lord himself, the Son of the Most High. Okay, I think it's Isaiah 63, man. Let me see something good. Isaiah 62. I know it's
Yeah, because it said that Yahushua was the first man. Adam was the first man. So Yahushua was the first man. He was the first man. So all manhood came from him.
Yep.
You know, so he was the progenitor of man. Alright? Right, and Adam said he was what, the father of us all. So Yahushua was what, the father of us all. You know, all nations, they derived from Adam, from Yahushua.
Yep.
Alright? So they all descended from Yahushua. All nations descended from Yahushua. Pretty much all nations have the genealogy of Yahushua, man.
Yep. That's how deep this thing goes.
Yeah.
As a whole. So
it's only right that all nations should bow down to Yahushua.
Yep.
They're all children of Yahushua.
Yep.
All nations, Edomites, Ishmaelites, they all descended from Yahushua.
Yeah. And that's why it also says that even the fishes in the sea shall also bow before when he comes back. Because Yahushua, he pretty much created all things. Woo. That's why it tells you in Genesis 1:1 that it says the Elohims.
Yeah.
Okay, I've said Elohims.
Towers.
It's really the Elohim, which you are part of that building of that construct, which is this earth.
Right.
Okay, so it's very right. So that, and this is why the elect are also known as the first fruits.
Right.
That we get the shoot first. The firstborn, and then ultimately the whole house of Israel. Because we're the first set of spirits that he created, which we were back there with Yahushua when he was creating certain things on the earth.
I'm catching my breath, bro.
Go on, brother.
Isaiah 65:17. For behold, I create new heavens and a new earth.
Yeah.
And the former shall not be remembered.
And that's another intent of what the Lord is going to do. He's going to come down here, not to just save or to destroy, but to also renew everything back to what it's supposed to be. And then that way, we can live like how the ancient men of old lived. Okay, we can live as long as the days of a tree. All right, we can do, highly skillful things that the mind cannot comprehend. The carnal mind, the lower state of mind cannot comprehend. Okay, but it's all going to revert back to the Lord, restoring everything back together again, and also the earth being completely fruitful, as you just read in 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter. Okay, so when the earth is restored, guess what? Our children, they're going to be severely strong because they're going to be pretty much born in a fruitful planet. Right. So not only is the planet going to be fresh and just beautiful, but it's going to be strong.